Hello from the Gilbert 3 Career and Technical Center. My name is Coleman Bruman. I'm the proud principal of the GRCTC, and I'm excited to share some information with you about what's going on district-wide and what's happening here at the center specifically. So let's get started. Some information that you may already know is the first day of school is on August 10th. That is for all students, and remember, it's all remote during the first 4 weeks. So that's weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be on a device, and we'll talk a little bit about devices on a later slide. I've been getting a lot of questions about schedules, so let's talk generally, and on the next slide, let's talk specifically. Generally speaking, our whole virtual experience, just like our face-to-face experience, will follow the AB block schedule. So Mondays and Wednesdays are A days, Tuesdays and Thursdays are B days, and then Fridays will rotate according to the schedule posted on our district website. If you have questions about scheduling, you can contact our counselor if it's GRCTC specific. So her name is Lisa Singleton. Please check in with her if you have questions. Always contact me too. It's never an issue. But if you have scheduling conflicts that you're worried about, that does go through your home campus, and please give them a little bit of grace. They are feverishly working to make sure that classes are leveled and set up, and they've got a lot of requests coming in and out the door at this time in the counseling office. But let's talk a little bit about what you probably want to know. What does it look like on the student side? And so this is our schedule during this 4-week transition period. You can see a couple things when you first glance at it. First off, there's this big light blue section, and most of that information is for my teachers. What you need to know for a student is that from 7:30 to 8:30, students will need to be available for asynchronous learning, tutorials, meetings, anything built into the day that we can go ahead and get started. Also, sometimes my teachers will be getting training as we explore this new LMS system called Canvas, and how to make sure we're getting this online instruction right, because online instruction in Garland ISD, we want it to be as close to the real thing as possible. And we want to honor that and give the time to do so. So what does that mean for the students after that availability time, as I'll call it? Well, it follows the AB block. You see it there. Periods 1, 2, 3, and 4 have a designated time for 70-minute periods. So on Monday morning, your student definitely has to log in at 8:40. And then there's a 5-minute break, and then there's second period, and then there's a break in the middle for both teachers and students. So that way we can be nimble and make the appropriate adjustments, and your students can step away from the screen a little bit. Also, one thing to consider during the 70-minute time, you're probably wondering, does that mean my students got to be on a Google Meet that long? Probably not. I know recommendations that we will do at our campus is that we'll deliver some content and then push the student out to a learning activity, and then probably bring them back in for an assessment. So also, we've made some changes with our grading policy. As you know, we've gone to a new intersessional calendar, which requires 9-week grading cycles. Well, that one change does drive some other changes, and now we are updating our policies to go from in-house grading and grouping policies to actual board policy. I encourage you to check them out. It's EIA and EIC local, which is just our terminology for the board policy that you can find on the board policy online. But I've got some highlights for you just to talk through it together. So this is for every high school. We will be working with 2 main categories, a minor category and a major category. Most teachers across the district will probably label it classwork and tests and projects. So there's 15 minimum grades per grading cycle, and that first minor grade category will consist of classwork, assignments, all that daily stuff that a kid would do in a normal classroom. And then that second one are your major assessments and projects. The one key difference is that we will have a cycle exam at the end of every cycle. And so that'll kind of be a total view of the curriculum on that assessment. So that will make up the 15 grades minimum. It is recommended that teachers do 2 grades per week just to keep you informed. And then one big change that's coming is that many of our courses at the CTC, at the GRCTC, will have advanced grade points. So we dig deep into some career-based curriculum, just like dual credit and AP do in core content. And so we're excited to offer those opportunities to kids so they can be rewarded for those efforts. Another part to look into is making sure you're set up for Monday. So, having a reliable device and reliable internet at home. At the GRCTC, we do not do the distribution. We will have something going on within the first 2 weeks, but let me talk about that in a second. Make sure you are ready to go for Monday. And so, get in touch with your campus, listen to the call outs. I know all the high schools are calling you to tell you how they're going to distribute their devices. Don't miss that opportunity. We've got to get rolling on August 10th. Now, if a student has a iPad, let's say they're a senior with an iPad tied to them, it will work during these first 4 weeks. We've made some adjustments at the GRCTC, but one thing that we're exploring, and it won't be able to be produced until my schedules settle, is checking out our equipment to make sure the students have the right stuff at the right time. My schedule is contingent on the home schools, so we've got to make sure that my schedule is settled so that way I know what kids I'm assigning it to. So more information will come out about that soon. Now, the number one question I've heard through email, phone call, even some video chats is, what will it look like after these 4 weeks? Let's say you're a family that picked remote instruction, but you want your child to participate at the GRCTC. The simple answer is that that's very course specific based on the standards and the equipment available. So let me give 2 examples. That picture there is my metal fabrication lab. That equipment I cannot duplicate online. So if your child is in metal fab and they are coming to the GRCTC, they will come to that class regardless if it's face-to-face or remote. They will be working with welding, lathes, mills, and doing everything to turn a piece of metal into whatever they dream. But there are some classes that are kind of a mix, where they have some stuff that they can do online and some stuff that they can do face to face. For example, my architecture program, most of it can be delivered virtually. However, they have to come into the school to practice on the high powered software that leads to certification. So we'll be working on that with the teachers during these next 2 or 3 weeks, and we will make sure that all students know before we open up to face in our building. So we've got a little bit of time, but we've got to work through what that looks like course by course. And in CTE, there are nearly 900 different courses available across the district. So please give us a little bit of time on that one to figure it out. Okay, so let's add a little bit in just so you're getting ready for when we can go back to normal. And of course, we're at the restrictions of the federal, state, local authorities, and however our school board decides to interpret those to keep our kids safe. That's always going to be our number one. But I want to add these two in just so whenever we do go face to face, you know what it looks like inside our school. First off, I can't wait to do an open house and really show you inside the school. The place is phenomenal. We've got the real equipment for the real class all the time. But that leads to that cell phone policy you see at the top. When we get kids back on our campus, we do require that the students turn in their phones to the teacher at the front of the classroom. This is required because we want to keep the kids safe. Also, there are partnerships with the teachers and the Garland Chamber of Commerce and many of our businesses. They've reported out that the cell phones are a huge problem for them. So safety is the big part, and then training's the next. We've got to get them ready for that real world. So they turn them in at the front of the room. We give break time during our 3 hours of instruction where they can go down to the bistro and buy a breakfast burrito or go into the store and buy a Dr. Pepper, and they get their cell phone during that time and they can have their break time. But when we're working, we are at work, and we want to minimize those distractions, because if they're holding a wrench in the motorcycle technology lab you see there, or holding a knife in my culinary lab, we've got to be safe at all times, and that's our number one priority. Now, with parking, our parking is free, but it does have to have a sticker because we've got to verify that all students have a valid driver's license and proof of insurance. This keeps everybody safe in case of an accident. It cannot be a permit. It has to be a valid driver's license where they are able to drive on their own to and from school. There is no charge for the first sticker, but each additional sticker, so let's say you want to put a sticker on your parents' car and just in case, or if you trade in your car and you need a new sticker, we do charge $5 for a new sticker, and that just helps us replace the cost of the parking stickers as a whole. Now, if you're not driving to school, you want to know about transportation. And our transportation is a little bit different, but in some ways simpler. So let me just run through the whole day. If you come to the GRCTC in the morning, now remember, not during those first 4 weeks, but after we're able to do face-to-face instruction, our transportation system runs a neighborhood method. So it will go to common stops, typically a elementary school or a middle school. You show up to that stop, the bus picks you up, and it brings you to the GRCTC, which begs the next question. You want to know what happens at the middle of the day. How does my child get back to the home campus? Well, we run a set of buses to each home campus, except Naaman, of course, because they can simply walk across the street, and they go back and forth. They take the morning kids back to their home campus, and then the bus runs from the home campus to us in the afternoon. Then in the afternoon, when we finally release, we have some that do the neighborhood pattern and some that actually take the kids back to the home campus, but it depends on which campus it is. And we'll have those charts developed and printed, but we've had some different changes with our busing system. So uh, we've got a little bit of time during this 4 week virtual instruction to get it ready, but we will post it. I'll do it in a call out. We'll make sure it gets to you. Now, one question there at the bottom that I've been asked is if my child is remote instruction, can they get bus service? And officially, the answer is no, they can't because we are not able to run the neighborhood buses during the middle of day. So if it is remote instruction, the kids can drive themselves. You can bring them to the campus, and that way they get their 3 hours of awesome career-based and industry-based instruction. But if you pick remote learning, it has to be your own transportation. So that is one key thing to keep in mind. Besides that, we're here to help. That's what we do at the GRCTC. We want to make sure kids are able to dig deep and get into those career based, but it's so different and really just awesome at the GRCTC that those questions are highly important. So email me at clbruman@garlandisd.net, or if you just want to reach my campus and they'll get it to the right person, it's a012@garlandisd.net. And also, you can call us at any time, 972-487-4588. Or if you want to meet virtually in a Google Meet or in a Zoom meeting, we can connect up on email, build a link, and we can talk that way too. I look forward to seeing you guys when I'm able to break free of these virtual modes. We can't wait to do an open house when we're able to open our doors again. But right now, we're going to do everything in our power to do the highest quality online instruction we can. Look forward to seeing some students online on Monday. Look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you so much.